So, a great thing to do besides buy books and check them out from the library and find good audiobooks and use Epic Books or any other Razkiz, any of the other book apps that are out there for kids is to get magazines. The best thing about magazines is it's a subscription. It's where the subscription box thing came from because it's something that arrives probably every month. Some are a little longer and are every 2 months, but for the most part, there's something that comes every month, which is super awesome. So, some of my favorites are Ranger Rick, National Geographic Kids, and Cricket, and Cricket's junior one for Ladybug, and top one besides National Geographic Kids is Highlights. Highlights for Kids. Absolutely love those. And they even have a junior one called High Five, and it comes in Spanish. So if you're working on being bilingual with Spanish, this is an awesome one to add to your arsenal of learning tools. But what's great about these magazines is all the fun stuff that's inside them. So let's take a tour of some of my favorites. Okay, so we're going to start with some digital ones that you can check out. Now, of course, you can get these mailed to your home or emailed. Either way, physical copies are always better than using the digital versions. But this expands your opportunity. And if you have a really good library system, there's some good ones for free. So let's check it out. I'm going to screen share here and show you how I navigate my website. So welcome to Orange County's public library system. If you have a library card in the Orange County system, which is quite large, you will be able to check out all of the great tools that they have for you for free. But I always go down to a couple of specific places, and the first one is RB Digital, digital magazines. So we click on that, and we get a ton of great stuff, all free and multilingual, which is really cool. There is German, there is Spanish, there is French, there is English, there's stuff from UK and from Canada. So in English, but just with added U's everywhere where you don't normally have U's in American English. Now, of course, this is a lot to sort because there's just tons of pages here. So we narrow this down by subject. So you can click children, and that will bring you to all of the kids' magazines. So if you don't want your own physical copy of National Geographic Kids magazine, you can get it right here. And you can even check out all of the back issues. And you just click there, and it goes to your account, and you can open it up, and then you start reading. And yes, there's this cool thing inside these magazines, and it's all these cool mazes and puzzles to figure out. And you can print them. Yes, that's right. You can print from the magazines, so you're not out of luck. If you've got this cool maze, you can go over here and select your printer and open it up. And you can save it as a PDF on your device that you're checking it out on, or you can go straight to your printer. Now, sometimes you will have a single first page that is blank, but it'll go down to the other ones. So oftentimes I find that there is a buffer page on each side. I don't know why that is. I'm not an expert on that. But what I do know is this is pretty cool. And of course, right now I have this in black and white, but you can change it to color. And that is awesome. You click print, and then you'll have it on your printer, and you're not missing out on the physical benefits of having a magazine that you have in a digital copy. I don't know if you can do this if you have an email copy. So you'll have to test that and let me know in the comments below. If you get an e-copy of the book, can you do the same thing? Okay, now to get back to your page, you can just click children again, and it'll take you back to the page. American Girl High Five in Spanish, Ladybug, absolutely wonderful magazine. If you can get a print copy, it's like getting magazines or getting picture books sent to your home, plus some activities. The artwork is beautiful, the stories are well written, and there's all kinds of great opportunities for engagement, like doing the I Spy games that are inside here. Again, this is something you can print off and circle with crayons. But full of great ideas. We have stories that are read dual, so that way they read the key words that have been identified in the picture and you read all the hard stuff. It's awesome. It's a great way to start practice reading or pretend reading, which is an awesome behavior to build when you're working with a 3 or a 4-year-old who's not reading yet. And it's a whole story. We have cartoon stories to get them excited about different stories to read. These are great because you can have them tell you the story by going through the boxes and telling you what happened first, what happened next, what do you think the dog is doing here? Because you don't have to worry about the text. You can just pretend it's not there. Okay, so you have American Girl, which is great for the tweens. You can start at about 8 years old. 8 years old is a great age to start with American Girl. And I know that the title American Girl and then is associated with the dolls, but they're full of great content, about helping one another, kind of very Girl Scoutish, but without the Girl Scouts. Great stories, great hands-on crafts, cooking activities, all kinds of awesome stuff. High Five, again, it's by Highlights. Absolutely. Ladybug, just saw that little tour. Totally. I love National Geographic Kids on so many levels. That's about age 8 or 9, more on the 9 because the vocabulary is scientific and a lot harder. So I definitely say that's for the little bit older kids. Ladybug, you can start at 3 and you can go to about 6 or 7 years old. So it has a nice lifespan. Same with High Five. What's great is when you're having a 6-year-old reading High Five or Ladybug, they feel confident. It boosts their confidence because they have this magazine that they now can read themselves. And of course, if you have back issues from when they were younger, they'll go back and they'll read all of those, which is so fabulous. And you're boosting their confidence and they're getting short reads in because they're usually around 10 minutes to read. So it's a lot of wonderful rewards. So I recommend it from 3 to about 6 or 7 years old. And the National Geographic Kids about 9 to 14. If 13, 14, depends on how into animals and science they are. Highlights, just straight highlights, awesome. Again, I would say that one is more 6 to 9 because the puzzles in there are much harder and you have to have a really detailed eye to handle those puzzles. Animal Tales, absolutely darling. Totally for the animal lover. The future veterinarian you have at home, she or he is going to love this magazine. It's all about all the different types of animals, definitely farm animals, definitely pets. Then we go into a little bit of zoo, but not too much, but it's a really great one. Some of the others you see are non-English. So we've got some German, we've got some Spanish. So there's a good variety here. There is the junior highlight. So this is your toddler highlight. Absolutely. Again, love it. Very similar to Ranger Rick's Cub magazine. So I definitely will recommend that one. And then Little Kids, National Geographic Little Kids, again, a nice toddler preschooler book or magazine. It is totally great, totally fun. And I recommend, again, these are great for little readers who are really starting to develop their understanding of sounds and identifying basics in ABCs. So super, super recommend. Scoop and Storytime are both great magazines and ideal for young authors. However, they're not in American English. So there's going to be some vocabulary that's going to be different, and there's going to be some words that are spelled different. So this is definitely for a child who likes to write, who's probably more around 10 years old, because they'll understand a little bit more of the fact that there is another version of English and it doesn't always make sense. And they have funny words like lift, which means elevator, or car park, which is a garage or a parking lot. Now, I also like The Week. Now, in school, a lot of the kids will get some kind of weekly newspaper that gives them great content about news and has different takes and allows them to think and process what's happening in the world around us. The Week is a great one for that. So I, again, recommend this one for kids because it really helps them be up to date, be aware. This opens up great conversations. If you read it together, you have a great opportunity to have dialogue about what your opinions are, what your child thinks about what's happening in the world, and so on. So I definitely recommend this. Check out this ancient art found in the Amazon. World pays tribute to football superstar. Some a variety of stuff. This opens up the horizons to what's happening around the world and keeps them globally centered instead of locally centered. So that's a tour of some of the online magazines. Now we're going to take a little bit of a tour of the magazines I have here at home that I would like to share with you. So here are some of my favorite magazines. Now, again, with like the little National Geographic Kids and highlights, these preschool or toddler level magazines actually can multi-purpose into about kindergarten, because these are full of great images and not too complicated text. So this is share along reading. They can do the sight words, you can do the sounding words, and you can even help them through some sounding words like black. So this is great for those little ones. The stories are short, they're simple, the activities are easy. Again, because they're simple and easy activities, they will boost confidence in their skills, which is great. It's going to introduce them to animals and their different types of categories, their names. So a baby manatee is called a calf, much like a cow has a baby calf. But they're going to be able to expand their vocabulary and their knowledge of animal world, which is really helpful. We're going to work on identifying colors, and this is great for vocabulary reading development because this is a sight word they're going to have to learn. So you can always ask them, what's your color sight word that's on this page, and have them point it out, not just the picture that matches, but the word. Again, another very simple story for them to read. So this is ideal for kindergarten, but it is recommended to start for preschool. There is a little extra bonus here that you can find some things inside. Now, these are really good quality. These are heavyweight and will be durable, so they can go from your current kindergartner to the infant you have right now who's going to grow up and be, a preschooler or a kindergartner later. So these have nice longevity. That's what I love about these. Now, the traditional magazine is awesome because they have crafts in the back sometimes. Sometimes they're in the middle. And this one is a mobile that they'll be able to cut out and assemble. So the project is quite simple, and most of the supplies you will have at home, like scissors and string, and glue. Really easy on that one. Now again, with these magazines, these have stories in them. So they become like having picture books that come home all the time, which is awesome. I knocked our hamster over. So you already have your first picture book right there. There's a game to play, but there's your first picture book. This one has easy, short text, so this is something you can read along together. Now we have a graphic story, so you'll be able to do sequencing events with this and talk about what's happening first, what's happening next, what's happening last, what's the beginning of the story, what's the middle of the end of the middle of the story, what's the end of the story. You have all these different opportunities right here, and then they can describe what's happening, and you want them to dig into the details and tell about what are the feelings that are happening. What do you think is going to happen next? What is this kid thinking about? What do you think this girl is reading? These are great conversations to have, so spend time there. Poetry is a nice way to introduce short stories, so I love these types of pages as well. And this is a great, you want a speedy bedtime, let's do a poem tonight. The read-alongs, again, they have the vocabulary to help them identify, this is Amber, this is Mommy. Now they know, they're going to look for this head. Amber and Mommy called down the hall. Amber, Mommy called down the hall. Are you making a mess? No, Amber. No, Mom, Amber called back. So you can see it even tripped me up, probably because it's upside down, but it tripped me up for a moment. This is important. These two little details, you have two similar faces, two similar shapes. So they have to do face identification. This is the same thing, pattern identification, same thing they do with reading words. So reading like this is a skill that is essential. It's a foundation. It builds the pattern recognition development that you need your child to have to become a strong reader. So don't skip these because you think they're easy. Continue to read those types of things. Here, again, we have all kinds of great vocabulary, and they'll be able to go through and identify it. If you have a child with a learning disability, this is going to be really helpful because they may not really understand what this shape is, but because there's a label that tells them and it demonstrates a little bit of what they're doing with it, it'll give them a better clue besides just sounding it out. So I recommend these for all reading levels, all skill types. We've got a song again. Always going to song. Another great graphic story. Then we've got another poem. And this one is awesome because we have a game as well as a story. Another wonderful story. We've got a poem. So we have, again, like I said, this is like having a picture book at home. Multiple pages for this story. So you have this whole wonderful picture book right here inside your magazine, plus the one that was at the beginning of the magazine. One they can read a little more independently, one they need you to read to them. So this is 2 picture books. That's $20 value, if not $30 value, right there in one magazine. So the value is totally there. We've got a great little poem here that actually has activity to go with it. So it's a physical poem. This is a great memorization activity, which is good, again, pattern development for pre-reading, as well as using your body to physically start putting words and body movements together. This enhances the learning skills. Really great thing. Plus, you get your wiggles out. Here we go. Another great graphic story, and you can have them tell you the story. It's their turn to tell you the story. Another night you can read them the story. And then a wonderful maze. So this is a great one. This covers, again, preschool to about 7 or 8 years old. You've got a good lifespan on this kind of a magazine. And I love this particular one because the artwork is quite inspirational because it's a collage of paper, different textures that create this. So it's great inspiration. Oh, and of course, another little cartoon in the back. So highly, highly recommend. And then an oldie but a goodie. The best one, I think, ever. But of course, this is definitely geared more towards older kids. So you want to look at more 9 years old because we do have some harder vocabulary up and into the junior high age, full of great facts, all kinds of odd news. It's fabulous. They become a little bit more world aware, animal aware. Of course, it's National Geographic, so we learn lots about locations. Great articles. The long ones are usually about 3 spreads, which is great. Of course, you have your collector cards. These I would recommend laminating so that they last longer because they are a little bit floppy, but they're great to collect and full of tons of great information. And of course, that's your center poster that you can hang up. And a great section about tech type stuff. There's always some kind of thing about inventions inside National Geographic Kids magazines, which is awesome because it helps inspire kids to think outside the box. Another spread on animals and geography. More cool facts. And then we get to the really fun stuff where there's different things to spy here. So this has a set that you are supposed to spy on recyclables. Then we have our story Unleashed, which is always humorous. We always take turns playing the different characters, so we make up a voice and then act it out. This is always a riot to figure out which signs are real and which ones aren't. This rotates in every quarter. You probably see this. National Geographic Explorers Academy, check it out. We have a book club for it. Fabulous, fabulous book series for 9 and above. But great National Geographic activities that come from this. This is Explorers Academy is National Geographic Magazine's own first fiction chapter book series, and they hit it out of the box. I don't know if they'll ever do anything as great as it, because it's pretty great. And then this is one of my favorite things, besides all the answers, is the kids' artwork that they can send in. So please don't hesitate. Have your kiddos send in their artwork to be inside the magazine. But this helps them get an idea of what other kids are doing, and then they'll be willing to send in their own and take part. There are other opportunities for them to participate in the magazine at the back. So definitely check out all the options. If you have a magazine that you would like my take on, please post it below. And I hope that some kids are going to get lucky and get some magazine subscriptions for the holidays.